Reality Recap. I'm your host, Slightly Bitta, or as some of you know me, Dylan. And today I'm going to be talking about Survivor 45, Episode 2. So, I know that I've been deleting my recaps after they're done. I don't know. It's just because I have other shit on my channel that I'm trying to push a little bit, but I promise I'll keep this one up. So, I also was really been out of shape the last episode. So, ooh, I'm gonna try to keep this as brief as I can, just because I don't want to drone on for too long, because I do have other things that I want to be doing. So, okay, let's talk about the episode today. I have to say that I like this episode. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but I actually really enjoyed this episode of Survivor. I would say for a couple reasons. Um, Oh, hold on. We've been winning for the past two boots. Absolutely. I hope Kelly stays with the girls. Okay. So leave stuff in the chat, guys, and I promise I will get to all of it as soon as I can. So I'm gonna try tackling what I can. Okay. So let's start with the 90-minute episodes, right? I'm gonna start with that. So I think the 90-minute episodes have been a really good thing for the show. Um, I didn't really notice until we got the hour and a half episodes, um, how condensed and how rushed some of the Survivor episodes really feel. It's like, okay, you get 2 minutes of camp life. Then you get by the way, if so anything's wrong with my audio, just let me know. You get 2 minutes of camp life. We do the challenge and then tribal council, and that's all you have time for. And maybe you go to Shipwheel Island every once in a while, right? So I think that this hour and a half format gives them more of an opportunity to kind of shake that up. You know what I'm saying? And to show us more of what happens on the actual show. So I've really appreciated that as a fan. Um, I do have to say that I am finding it a little bit hard to connect with some of the people on the show. And the reason really is this season feels more meta than any other fucking season. And that's why I titled it Meta Nights. Because every fucking person on the show, or at least most of the people on the show, feel like Rob has a podcast people, or Twitter people, or they've been literally watching the show for almost their entire life, and they go on fucking Reddit nonstop, and they just that's all they do. And to me, it's a little jarring because I do enjoy people that, kind of get excited about things in the game. Not because, oh, I saw this on TV, but because it's just really fucking cool. Like, for example, when they're doing the safe or whatever, or the code, right? Um, you have dipshit 1 and dipshit 2 being like, oh my god, I saw this on TV. Whereas if you went back in the old days, they're like, oh, this is cool. It's I feel like I'm on an adventure, right? So to me, it kind of, and I mean, it's hard. It's the show's been on for 45 seasons, but it feels like the luster of it all is a little lost in translation. So that's the only thing I can really say about this group that I kind of have a bad taste in my mouth for. The only person on the island that I really couldn't stand just left the game. And I'm trying super hard to not be unreasonable and to be just really bitter. I mean, my name is Slightly Bitter, but I'm trying really hard to not just take off things that I'm feeling about this season because of my experiences or whatever, which I can't really talk about. But I'm trying not to let that cloud my judgment. However, with that being said, I could not fucking stand Brandon this entire fucking season, bruh. And I was very happy when he went home because I felt with Emily, she really has a bigger story to tell, right? The first episode, she's really blunt. I loved her on this episode when she was in fucking Sabaya's face, being like, yeah, I know you're just following me. Like, so I don't find the idol. Like, I'm not stupid. I appreciate someone that plays the game candidly, someone that's not just like, being political. You know what I'm saying? And when I say political, I don't mean politically correct. I mean just someone that's like, like saying what they need to say because they're supposed to say it because it's good gameplay or whatever. Um, so Emily feels really raw and real, and I kind of go to Survivor looking for those type of players. I also really like Sabaya. I also think Caleb is an amazing player, not because people are saying he's an amazing player, but because on this episode he did what I've always said that I would do if I was on the show. He saw Emily, who he could have easily been like, Emily threw my name out, Emily needs to go home. He didn't do that though. He saw Emily and said, I need this girl to be an ally. So instead of just isolating her and letting her game implode, when realistically it was much better for the tribe to keep Emily and get rid of Brandon. And I kind of got the vibe from Sean, even though he didn't really get much screen time, just from what I saw and how hard he was pushing for Emily to stay. I don't think he really cared for Brandon, if I'm being honest with you. I don't really think any of them did. Just from like the context clues that we were given, and just being honest, I think that they all really couldn't stand him. Um, but I thought that Caleb was very smart to be like, okay, this girl's by herself. Let me pick her up as a number because there's a chance that we could, win all the way to the merge. And instead of just labeling someone as they're never going to work with me, they're this, they're that, why don't you try changing it? You have time. You literally have nothing but time on that island. We've seen players before, like Abby Maria. If you put some effort into them, they can be a number for you. Some players on Survivor don't want to put the work in. And quite frankly, that's why y'all motherfuckers don't win. Uh, the game is for $1 million. It's kind of worth putting a little bit of elbow grease in, working with people that you may not like as a person. It's kind of worth working with people that maybe are a little different or are a little more blunt and aren't hearts and flowers. And I think that was part of the reason why Brandon lost the game. So let's talk about that. Because this whole episode, he built himself, and I'm not saying the show did, because I don't think the show built him up that way. I think he built himself up as being someone with a great social game, but a bad physical game. I didn't see that. Because while Sabaya wanted to keep him, it didn't come off that she wanted to keep Brandon. It came off as she wanted to get rid of Emily. And it seems like the two boys got their way, and I'm glad they did. But it's like he's in his confessional being like, "Oh, I'm an amazing player. I have an amazing social game." It reminds me so much of like the mini community people, the people that like play fucking Twitter, Big Brother, and suck each other's dicks and fucking jerk each other off by giving each other wins by all playing games together. And I know he was part of that community, so it doesn't really surprise me. But they kind of just like oust people that are really easy to oust, like people that they're not friends with or whatever. And I just kind of saw that happening with him and with Emily. And the problem is that in this game, in real motherfucking life, no one gives a shit if someone's blunt. In fact, that's a reason to keep someone around because they're unlike him, these people were playing to win. And I felt that more than anyone else, Brandon was there just to make friends and just to get a podcast, if I'm being honest with you. And that was part of the reason why I couldn't get behind him from the first second he was out there. Because I like seeing, like people that really love the game go on there. But if you just are on there, you know, to geek out about the show, bitch, don't sign up. And I'm gonna actually defend him a little bit because I saw some people saying, "Oh, well, he should have hit the gym before he went." Kind of almost like kind of fat phobic things. I'm not in that boat. I don't. I actually think it's disrespectful to say he shouldn't have been cast on the show just because he's not fit. I don't want to see people on the show that all are athletic gods that know how to win every fucking challenge. For me, it wasn't the challenge performance. It was just it didn't seem like he was there for the right reasons. So to all the people that are like basically calling Brandon fat and like Shaming him for doing bad at challenges, bruh, shut the fuck up. Because I know quite a few of you on here are neckbeards, okay? And I feel the projection. So I don't feel that you need to pull a Carson Garrett and get a fucking 8 pack before you go on the show. I mean, if you want to do that, by all means. And to me, Carson's like probably the only like nerd that like actually did like proper, like training for this shit. Like you see people talking about, I got read books, like Hannah, she read books or whatever. It's like, bitch, that's not gonna help you. Like there is no book. There is no mathematic way to be a good communicator, okay? Um, oh, I see all the comments. Let me just finish this point and then I'm going to read your guys' comments. There's no science on being able to communicate with people, okay? There's some things that you can pick up, there's some tips that you can learn, but no books are going to teach you how to pick up on lies and how to pick up on this. Um, it's just something that you're born with and or something that you pick up by having experiences with people. And I feel that I've been good at it because I have so many experiences. Let me shut off Skype. Sorry, y'all. Um, but I mean, obviously you can look up like simple ways to spot a lie, but it's not going to help you in the game, and that's why people like that don't necessarily win. Let me look at the comment section. So, hey, Aaron Hughes. Hey, DM Rocks. We've been winning for the past two boots. I agree with that. I hope Kelly sticks with the girls and not Bruce and Jake. I did see that about Kelly. So, let me talk about that first. So, we finally, this episode, got to see the dynamics of the blue and red tribe. And, that's my biggest problem with the 26 days versus 39 days is that they have significantly less time to actually make relationships and alliances. Um, so, but I think that we got a pretty good idea of what the dynamics were in this episode than we have in like the past many seasons. So on the Blue Tribe, we have the three girls that aligned with each other the first episode, and then we have Brando, who they didn't mention as a target at all. So I figured he would be the one that they would try to bring in as their like James from 43, where he's like the guide to their three girls. And then we see Jake and Bruce connecting the dots that the three girls are together. But they think that they have Brando and that they have Kelly. And Kelly's kind of on the fence about wanting to work with the guys. So my thing is that I don't know if this is just they need to have suspense out there, so they need someone to play the middle. I mean, not every tribe is like that. But I don't know if it's just like how they like maybe she said that to keep suspense or whatever. I feel like she's probably gonna stick with the women. In my opinion, though, if she votes off like one of the women over the guys, it's just so stupid to me. And I'm like not gonna sit here and like talk about misogyny or whatever, but it just is really fucking weird how like people think that just because someone is a guy automatically they're better for you in challenges, because just looking at the actual episode and the actual challenges, I don't think any person on the blue team helped any more or less than anyone else. And I think at the end of the day, if you look at like Survivor 41, for example, right, where they voted off Abraham and Voce 1 and 2, you would think, oh my God, you voted off two guys that were in really good shape. As soon as they got voted off, that yellow team, I don't remember, what was their name? It wasn't Vaca, was it? I don't fucking remember. I think it was Vaca. They won every other challenge after that. And you would think on paper to vote off Tiffany. Some people just get a grip for challenges the more you do them. Sometimes it's just better to keep an ally around than it is to just keep someone who's better in challenges. Um, and I don't think guys are necessarily better in challenges. To be honest with you, I don't really feel like it's worth voting someone off based on challenge performance unless they are so fucking bad that they are losing for you. Or you have someone that's really good for you, so you don't want to get rid of them. For example, Brandon is dog shit at these challenges. He single-handedly made his team lose every fucking challenge they competed in. If he wasn't there, they would have probably had a chance at least getting second. Whereas if you look at Jonathan on 42, like him or hate him, he was the reason why his team won all those challenges. He individually carried the fuck out of his team. I remember Michaela on 33 and 34 was the same way. Um, so it's like, I don't feel that it's worth it to sacrifice an ally based on challenge performance unless that ally is significantly bad or the other option is significantly good. And it's like with the blue team, there's no one on that team that's like carrying the entire fucking team. There's no one on that team that's like losing it for that team. It's just going to be some days you win, some days you lose. But when you're on the island, you really do look for any reason to vote someone off. But if I was Kelly, look at the last however many seasons, right? Women don't have good odds in this game. And you're going to pick off two of them when out of, I don't remember how many pre-jury boots they said it was, but out of the pre-jury boots over the last like however many seasons, I think it was like 80% or something like that were women. If I was a woman, whether you think it's misogynistic or not, like I would be fucking concerned about that. I realistically think that, so number one, I'm not gonna like pressure Kelly to like protect them. I think it's kind of fucking bullshit that people hold like women accountable or whatever they like to call it when the women don't vote with each other. But listen, it's a game for a million fucking dollars. No one signs up to do a social cause on a reality competition show, okay? So if Kelly feels that that's the best thing for her game, it is what it is, but I don't think so, and I don't think she'll do it, but we'll see. This episode was great. Almost everyone was good. I do agree with that. I think this was a good episode, and I liked the pacing of it. And I see because there's an hour and a half, you can waste like 10, 20 minutes on a fucking twist island with an hour and a half. That's what I think it was a good idea to do that. And I wasn't watching the episode feeling like, ugh, it's dragging. I really didn't feel that. I felt like, even though I watched it late, like, I didn't feel like, ugh, there's more Survivor. It felt like there's more Survivor. Who's your, Emily was shockingly great this episode. I had a feeling she was going to be, um, I would have really been surprised if Emily would have went home. Um, this episode. Who's your favorite right now, Dylan? Minus Sabaya, Austin, or Caleb? I like all three of them. I really like Katora. Katora is like that person that like says what I'm thinking at home. Like, who is this jackass? Like, it kind of reminded me of Aaron from Survivor Token Teens and Coach. So she'd be Aaron and Coach would be Bruce. Bruce would be Coach. Which, by the way, I gotta say this too. I'm sick of people trying to say that they're gonna be the new JT and Steven. Why is there like this weird obsession with people to be like JT and Steven? Both of whom are, in my opinion, shitty players. They were both very lucky to be on a really old school type season where the women and like were seen as like looking. I really liked Katura. She was saying things that like I felt like I would have been saying if I was on the show. Um, I feel like she's got it together, just like the things I've seen from her. I really hope that she does stay in power. I don't think if her team, I think if her team loses, I don't think she'd be the target. I really, I go back and forth on Sabaya. I really like Caleb. I like Julie. Bruce is kind of funny. I like Austin. That's about it. You know, I can't really say that there's people on there that like I love. Like, there's no one out there yet that's like gotten to that point for me. But I do see potential. I'm trying to think what else. So I talked about the Steven and JT thing that I thought was stupid. I think Sifu is really fucking annoying. To me it gives off he's trying way too fucking hard to like come off as this like coach guy. You know what I'm saying? It gives me very phony. Um, I think it's just like kind of uh, obnoxious, like how people come on this show now and they like think that they're like, ugh. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up by giving some of my quick thoughts on everyone. There's not much else to say about the actual episode. Alliances were formed. Oh, Drew. Drew is really getting a lot of screen time. Drew is probably going to be someone down the line that is a really big threat. Um, and the thing is that people don't. I think so too. I don't know if he'll be a villain, but I do think that he's one of those types of people that you have to watch out for on the show because he gets overlooked and then he gets a lot of power. And I think he might end up in a middle position. So, so let me. Oh, I like Emily too. So, also, I don't feel like holding my phone up too long. So let me quickly go through these people. Austin, Austin's kind of just gonna be like the meathead of the season. Oh, that's what I was thinking about. Um, Everyone's like now talking about how like, oh, I'm not really one of those people that's like a bro dude. I can't really like associate with the bros. I'm like, what fucking bros are on this season, man? Like, for real. Every fucking guy on this season's a fucking nerd. Seriously. Brando's a nerd. Bruce is an old nerd. Drew is a fucking Poindexter. Jake, I guess Jake's like the closest thing we have to there as to like a bro dude, but I wouldn't even really say so. I guess he's like kind of masculine. Uh Caleb, I wouldn't say so. Sifu is a fucking weirdo, and then Sean is definitely not a nerd. I mean, well, definitely not a bro dude. So it's like I don't understand people when they come on now and they say that they're a fucking bro dude. They can't mess with the bros. It's like, bitch, there are no bros on this fucking island. Like that storyline is so tired. Carson did it last season, and I didn't even think it worked last season when there was like two bro dudes on the show. Not saying I need bro dudes on there, but it's like, come on, like it's the same shit every fucking season now. Like, for real, you're all like nerds at this point. Um, so yeah, Austin, mm, like he seems like a nice guy. I see people thirsting all over him. I can kind of understand it. Brando, like I don't know what was there to say. He's a smart guy in the middle. That's like trying to like I don't know what else there is to say. Bruce is making me laugh. I think Bruce is really funny. I like his dynamic with Katora. I really like their dynamic, and I don't think Bruce would be the target. I think that Bruce would I think Jake would get voted off, and I think Bruce would be able to like pass by an episode or two. Um, I do think that he is laying it on kind of thick, but with his like his connection to the past or whatever, it's a really big leap to say that you're a celebrity when you didn't even last one episode in a show, bruh. And I saw someone say like it really does speak volumes how like big of nerds these people are when they are geeking out about someone that didn't even last a day in the show. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I would have recognized him, but if I was on the show, I don't think I would have really cared about him. I think I would have tried getting rid of him to be honest, just because he's technically played before. But like I wouldn't really have given a fuck. Like, oh my god, it's Bruce. Like the fuck? I think D is really funny. I like her personality. Again, we haven't seen too much of her, but I liked her little segment about her weird toes today. That's another thing I really like. I like that we're getting some time to like get to know these people and see parts of their personality that doesn't necessarily have to be game related. Um, but I think Dee's in a good spot. I think she can make it pretty far. She's now in the majority, so I like her. Drew, I hope Drew's one of those people that we get breaks from because I'm already getting sick of him. I hope he doesn't start calling himself Basile. Um, I think he's going to get a lot of power, and I think at some point it's just going to come crashing down. And I will be here for it when it does. Emily, I like Emily's story arc. She's had a really strong story arc for it only being 2 episodes. And I think if you're in the game, Emily's someone that you bring on your side because Emily will always be a bigger target than you. Emily's someone that has no choice but to work with the people that are willing to work with her. And she will say what you want to say. So I really like her. She'll say what no one's willing to say, but everyone's thinking. I really like Emily. I would have loved to have worked with her. J Maya, she's smart, but she hasn't figured the clue out. I don't think anyone has. Only on the other team, which by the way, everyone sharing all their advantages is so weird to me. I don't know why people still do that. I think Drew was smart to do it. Um, with the safety without power because it was obvious that he was going to get something. Either he lost his vote or he got something. So in that sense, I think it was smart. I also don't think it's an advantage that's worth hiding. Like, I mean, it's basically done by like the merge. So I don't think it's worth hiding, to be honest with you. But I'm worried for her. I think she might end up being an early boot just because she's not in the majority. And I fear that they may be like, challenge strength, and they may get rid of her, even though Sifu literally sat out of this challenge, bro. Like, Sifu is not helping you guys win anything. So I do hope that Sifu would be the one to go over her. However, there's not really much for me to like say about her right now. Jake, I mean, what is there to say about Jake? He wants all the guys to work together, whatever. Julie is really smart, older woman. I think that she, they kind of built Drew up to be like the powerhouse of the team right now. I disagree. I think from what we saw, Julie was the one that got this alliance together. She got Drew in it. She got who's the other girl? D in it, and she got and then he got Austin in it, but I think she already said she had a connection to Austin. So I think Julie and D will be a pair, Drew and Austin will be a pair, and I think at the end of the day, Julie is covered on all sides because I think the guys would keep her over D. But I also think that they could get J Maya on their side. You know what I'm saying? Caleb is a really smart player. I do have to say I think people are overhyping him a little bit, like he's some mastermind. Like, bruh, it's 2 episodes in. I do think that he's a really smart player. Like I said, I gave him kudos for his relationship with Emily and not just throwing that away. Um, but I really like Caleb, even though there's controversy about around him paying his way onto the show or whatever. Katora is probably my favorite right now. I really like her takes. Her talking heads are great, and I'm excited to see what she does when she actually has to start playing the game. Kelly is in an interesting spot. Don't know too much about her. She's from New York. I think it's smart to go with the girls in this situation, but we'll see. Kendra is kooky. The moments we seen of her are kind of crazy. I do think it's kind of odd that they just did that twist the first night of sending her to the other island, and we literally will never know anything about it. And based on the fact that we didn't even hear anything about it this episode, like in a secret scene or whatever, I feel like that was a one and done thing and probably not going to happen again, which sucks because I actually think it was a pretty good twist. Sabaya, I love how blunt she is. I mean, Janelle was right. Cast the truck drivers. I really like her. I don't know if I would have gotten along with her on the show, but I liked even during the puzzle when Brandon was trying to be a fucking baby. She was putting his ass in place. Sean, not really much from him. Kind of reminds me of Josh from last season. They're not really showing him a lot, but you can tell he's in like a decent position. Um, Sifu, annoying, and that's my thoughts. So far, I think the season's been pretty good. I'm glad that 2 people that I feared didn't really care about being there are gone, or were there for the wrong reasons are gone. But we'll see. Anyways, y'all, I'm gonna head out for the night. I'll talk to you later. Until next time, stay tuned, stay followed, and stay bitter. Bye.